Hey everyone, welcome back to Bros and Shows. I am your host, Josiah, aka Malik67, and with me, as always, I got my buddy, I got my pal, I got my brother Austin. Austin, how you doing today?
I'm not doing too bad. It's okay.
I'm not doing too bad. Uh, anything big going on?
uh, just life. That's how that usually is, nothing too unordinary, I gotta work tonight when I get off the podcast, so
Oof.
they asked me to work some overtime tonight, and I was like, yeah, okay, I will.
You get paid like overtime pay and everything. It's not just you get extra hours in, that's it.
Well, I was getting paid overtime, but then I asked if someone could switch me shifts Thursday tomorrow because I have some things that are going on in my life, and I was like, hey, is there any way that someone could take my 2 to 7? So really, in reality, I'm not. I'm kind of like getting a little bit of overtime, like 3 hours of overtime tonight, but yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
So kind of in a way. So.
Yeah. I mean, make the money, man. Do what you gotta do. Have everything like that. That's good. I just got told today, technically yesterday, but I'm doing it today. But I was informed that my coworker was not going to be at work for the foreseeable future and used medical leave. So I'm like, oh, that's fantastic, because I've been working ever since December, since I got back. Not able to take sick days or anything like that because they have been too unreliable. Like, they'll just randomly call off on days. And we need someone in site who can do this stuff. But if I'm not there, that poses a lot of issues. And there was a lot of times where it's like, hey, even the supervisors and managers won't be in, so you have to be in here, type deal thing. And then getting that information, I'm like, that's great. I love being forced to not be able to take anything off. So that will go away once next Friday, I want to say. Next Friday is the 1st, right? March 1st?
Yes.
Yeah. So we get a new hire in, and it's official now, so I can say. The new hire is our friend Jordan Oka. Got the job, so congrats to him. And then I get to teach him the vault and everything, and he gets to be the extra man in there, and then I can call off on him.
That's what you get for being the low totem.
Yeah, that's what you get for being a new hire. But yeah, no, that's basically been my life. Me and you, we've been playing Helldivers. We've been doing that stuff. Yeah.
Which they just announced that what was it? They did like a little announcement. What was it actually today? Actually, yeah, or it was yesterday, late yesterday, where they talked about they're trying to fix everything, and they're trying to make sure that and one of the reoccurring issues that people are having, one is not connecting servers, but the other thing is people not logging out for other people to play. So those crashes are happening. And now they're well, there's for people that are AFK, they need to jump out, so other people can play. So they said that was one of the issues that they were targeting, was people staying on the servers, not letting other people play. So
yeah, I just saw a news article talking about that. That was they're going to try addressing AFKers in the next patch, which I'm like, cool. I am 100% for, because you had a lot of people who would get in the game and then just sit in the game and AFK and stay on, and then their friends would big piggyback off of them to get onto the servers. And now hopefully people will be able to actually play. Me and you got to play it with our friends yesterday after nearly an hour of trying.
Yeah, try to get on.
But no, it's a fun game. Like it's solid. It's definitely a multiplayer co-op game. Like the enjoyment will come from you playing it with friends.
Oh yeah.
So if you don't have friends, you may not enjoy the game as much. You could still probably find it. So yeah, no, that's I'm glad to hear that. I want that game to do good. I would love it if they incorporated cross-platform for Xbox at some point. That's my one for them. We'll see. We'll see, and you never know.
You never know.
With all that stuff. So, all right, Austin, let's go ahead and dive into it for this week's episode.
Yeah.
Austin, this week we've continued the journey of the cup with the head and the mug with Cuphead Season 2 on Netflix on Netflix. So, Austin.
Yeah.
So you're the one who picked this series. We talked about it a little bit last week. For this week, Season 2 specifically, what was your feelings about Season 2 of Cuphead?
I like Season 2 a lot better than Season 1. There was a lot more, I think, like story structure a little bit better. We got to know the characters. Like the characters weren't new. It wasn't like, hey, this is who this is. This is who this is. There, definitely, I think that some of the characters that they brought in, which a lot of people don't know this that have never played the game. A lot of the characters in some of the main storylines are bosses in the game. Like the pirate and the sea serpent lady and King Dice and all them, stuff like that. Which King Dice was last week, and the princess, the candy princess girl.
Oh yeah.
So I actually thoroughly enjoy it. It's a goofy show. Like I said, it's goofy. It's meant for like kind of children's kind of Mighty Mouse type deal. For people, just to watch and have fun.
My question: is it confirmed that this is a prequel to the games?
I have no clue.
You have no idea. The reason why I asked, right, is that this would give like context to Cuphead, why he would go after the souls of these individuals if he ever got his soul actually taken, right? Because it's like, oh, I'm going after all those people who were like big and mean to me, blah 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 blah, to capture their souls, blah 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 blah, and it would give context. And because like the one issue I have with this show, and I think I've already explained that it's targeted to children. I get that. I 100% agree with that and understand that. But like Cuphead is super immature.
Oh yeah, of course.
He is insane.
He causes most of his problem.
Yeah, but like there's like a little bit of like Mario Luigi kind of setup between him and Mugman. With Mugman being more of a like a responsible individual, kind of scared, and then Cuphead being more of a like adventurous, and in this show straight up bad influence, I guess.
Causes more problems.
Yeah.
Than he needs to.
But I never really got that from the games. In the games, I didn't feel like they were, oh, I'm a adventurous type. I'm doing dumb things. And then Mugman, straight up, from my understanding of the game, Mugman was nothing more than player 2.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he's just his brother.
Yeah, but Cuphead,
no
like,
story.
if like the game took place after the series, that would make sense to me, where it's like, yeah, it's Cuphead loses his soul later in life to the devil, and then goes on this adventure to like steal those souls and whatnot, and those souls are the people that he interacted with whenever he was a kid. And like that would make sense to me. But it doesn't have to be. That's just my brain was very much trying to understand that and trying to like perceive it for the show, because anytime something is based off of a game, my brain wants to ask like, is it based off but two separate entities, or are they connected? And that stems from did you ever play or know of the Hack series?
I kind of knew of it. Like I've watched like you play it for a while, and then I kind of watched I think the first season. Really.
Yeah, well, there's only one season of the initial .hack.
Okay.
Or .hack sign is what they're called. But like if you play the game and watch an episode of .hack sign, you're like, they're two different things, but they're actually not. .hack sign is a sequel. Is it a sequel or a prequel? It's one of those two. Of .hack. And okay, no. Okay, now I remember now. .hack sign is a prequel to the .hack games. And the last episode of .hack sign has a whole scene where the characters from the game and the characters from the show meet up together and they interact with you. But everything that happens in .hack sign happens before .hack, the games. But you can find you run into nearly the whole cast of the game. I mean, from the anime to the vice versa. And I like that. I like it whenever a world is connected between the different mediums of the storytelling elements. And so I didn't know if that's what it was with Cuphead in the show. So there's like a miniature headcanon forming in my brain that this is prequel series to Cuphead. Even if they don't announce it or if it's not true, my brain is like canonizing it in that way. But awesome. My honest takeaway from season 2 of Cuphead, it's okay. I have no like, I'm not like infatuated with it, but I'm also not like, I don't hate it, you know? It's definitely a show that I would enjoy watching it with like a younger kid if like they liked it. It's no Dora the Explorer when I want to bash my head open. But nor is it no like Gravity Falls where I'm enraptured with it and I want to keep watching. And I don't know if that is because of the characters or because of the humor in the show. Because like there are very humorous parts in the show that I like and I found funny. Like the one dragon, whenever the devil is getting all of his minions, he's like, I will need my third best minions. And it's like this big fat dragon that's just like, I'm like, bro, same, bro. Like there are episodes. It's showing on the screen now. It's making me realize it. The Sea Witch episode was probably my favorite, but it's not because it's like super fantastic of an episode. It was like a good episode. I found it funny with what they were like the concept they were telling, but it was because it's the voice actress of Naja from What We Do in the Shadows. And I was like, well, whenever I recognize a voice, I instantly get more invested. Like that's what happened with Gravity Falls. Whenever I recognized, I think it's Justin Roiland's voice in it. I recognized that one, and I went, oh my gosh, I know who this person is. I'm more invested in this episode. And then it just kept spiraling because there was just more and more people I recognized in there. So like, yeah, I think they just showed. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, there's the big red dragon that's just like, oh. But then there's also like funny things. I don't know if I'm sure they intended for it, but the pirates straight up looked like Pluto from the old Popeye shows. Yeah. I straight up thought they were just going to call him like not Pluto, but like something like Venus or something like that.
Or something.
Yeah, like Pluty or something like that. And it's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah. No, I remember playing against him in the game, and he was like one of the first bosses where I really hit a wall. And I was like, oh, this is rough. I think it took me like a month to beat him because you have to like know games like that are like pattern games, like Mega Man and stuff. So you just like learn the pattern. You're like, oh, okay, it's a pattern. But that one was difficult. He was a little difficult because it wasn't just him that you faced. It was like an octopus, his bird, and like cannon balls that were coming at you. And you're like, ugh. But yeah, I will say the sea one's one of my favorite episodes. And it's funny because, I laughed. Like, one of the best scenes in the sea one that I love is when, he gets unstoned. And he's like, what happened to me legs? It's not me legs. And he's like, I'm sorry, break them. And he's like, no. Pirates dream of having 2 peg legs. No, I have 2.
Pirates have a peg leg, but I got 2. The one thing I will say, when that scene happens where he breaks his leg, my brain instantly went to like, oh dang.
I thought they were gonna like glue it.
That's why I thought they were going to glue it, and then like there was going to be a joke of it and be like, I can't really walk very well or something like that. But instead they put the peg leg on him, and I was like, oh okay, so they're just going to like
makes sense.
Toss that way. Like that's yeah. It makes complete sense. He's a pirate.
I like that one, and then the ice cream episode.
The ice cream episode was also.
It's like creepy but funny. It's like, I got a new hat. It's on the side.
I love. Oh, okay. Sorry. I was thinking of the candy episode, not that ice cream.
Oh, Sweet Temptation.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the ice cream one. After playing like Lethal Company and everything, when the ice cream truck became a thing, my brain was hearing the Lethal Company like ice cream music. Or what? I forget. That's always the jingle that when you hear it, you're like, I know it like tune by tune. And then when it's not playing, you're like,
oh, I know this. Tie it in a bow. Can you throw it over? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I enjoyed the candy episode where like, Cupman eats all of Mugman's candy, and then he finds the candy world, and then they go there and consume everything, get turned into candy. I do like. Yeah. Sorry. Go on.
Oh no, but like So what? Go ahead, because I was gonna like move on to another episode.
Okay.
And like, before you say it,
I do like that episode, but I did notice that in this season there was a lot more of episodic wrap-ups.
Yeah,
which is fine and dandy, perfectly good. Like that's like Futurama level of storytelling and everything. Where it's at the end of the episode, they end it. And then the next episode, everything's clear and fine. They don't care. They move on. And then occasionally the episodes kind of carry over. Because like we have the episode where they all get arrested.
Yep.
And then the next episode, they're just cutting wood. And it's like nothing happened.
Yep.
The episode where they eat the candy. And then it ends with Elder Kettle going to like eat them and consume them. And that's how the episode ends. And so it's like, okay, they've reached the point where they're not going to interlock the episodes, and they're just going to resolve themselves or be like self-contained in each episode within its own universe kind of deal.
Yeah.
If at the end of the show, okay, you know what? This would be a banger concept for a show, right? Is every episode is about the main characters, but it's like set up to be like an episodic episode each one, right? And it's the same characters, but like imagine if it's Cuphead, right? Each episode is just Cuphead. But then the very last episode of the final season is all these different universes colliding, and they're just like, what the heck is happening? It's like we're wrapping up, we don't know what to do, and we left off on so many possible endings, we don't know which one's canon, so we just gotta figure it out on our own. And then you have like a giant battle royale fight of the different things, so you see like different episodes endings come back into play and everything. I personally would find that hilarious if they only did that on one episode, like the final episode, up to that point had no connection. Like if Futurama's final episode is like all the different episodes where like they couldn't continue off of, I would be okay with that. But Anyways, Austin, what were you going to say before I started going on that weird rant?
Oh, so another person that I haven't seen do acting in a while is actually in one of these episodes, and I kind of got his voice like right when he started talking,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the Rat episode where Cupman and Cuphead
Oh
and
yeah, they let them
Mugman.
the rat in.
Yeah, they let the rat in, and that is Chris Kattan, who plays the
Chris
rat.
Kattan.
Have you ever
Name sounds
watched
familiar.
Night at the Roxbury's? Maybe. I'm trying to
I
think what
know of
else
Night
you
of
would know
Roxbury.
him.
That's the one where they do the whole head thing, right?
Yeah, he's not Will Ferrell. He's the other guy.
Okay, yeah.
He was on Saturday Night Live a lot. Like he was.
Okay, I know
all
who you're
on
talking
Saturday
about.
Night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Kattan, and he was in Undercover Brother. He played like the assistant to the man. Do you remember Undercover Brother? I don't know if you remember.
No, I haven't seen that in a long time.
Oh man, yeah. He doesn't do a lot of acting anymore. I haven't seen him in a lot because I know that he had. There was like this movie he did for Saturday Night Live, and it was supposed to be like this big movie, and then it just like failed. Like it was really bad, and he never was back on Saturday Night Live, and like it never happened again. So, I was like, oh, okay. And then when I heard him on this, I was like, wait a minute, that's Chris Kattan. I was like, I haven't heard that guy in a long time, so I'm glad he's still making stuff. But that episode is really fun. I like the concept of this rat just going to like war with them.
I just like the fact that they're like, don't let the rat in because I hate rats. And then the rat gets in and he's like a cold-blooded like murderer doing everything.
Yeah.
And you're like,
he's like,
okay, this ain't no normal rat.
Pretty much.
Like, no, this is according to Commander Kettle. This is a normal rat, and he has to show the truth.
It's fun. Yeah, I like how some of the episodes are just really goofy, and then some of them are a little goofy, but most of the time when they're really, really goofy, I enjoy them a lot.
A lot of times they're really goofy. The only time I don't enjoy the episodes is whenever Cuphead is the absolute worst human being in the world. The episode I have a hard time watching. I had a hard time getting through. I had to I boosted the fast forward up a little bit. Was the wood episode where they're cutting wood, and Cuphead for no reason is just sending everything with a rocket into space, like just blowing it up. And I was just like, why is this a thing?
Yeah.
Why is the premise for this episode is Cuphead's a piece of trash and Mugman goes crazy trying to protect Cuphead?
Oh yeah.
I was legitly angry by the end of that episode. I'm just like, Cuphead learned nothing. And Mugboy or Mughead or whatever his name is, legitly got nothing out of it and just suffered the whole time. And that was the episode. It was just Cuphead learned nothing and Mugboy suffered. And I'm like, that is the definition of the Mario Luigi complex that everyone always gives. Like, Mario gets everything and Luigi just suffers.
Yeah, Luigi.
And that was an episode that I was like, this sucks. I'm not enjoying this episode.
No, I totally get you. It is one of those episodes that I really didn't care too much for. The ending of the season's really interesting too. Because they left you off on a cliffhanger last season, then they leave you off on a cliffhanger this season.
Of course.
The ending was like, Mugman is now in hell now with Satan because he kidnaps him.
Yeah,
I like the goofy. I like that episode because it's just super goofy with them like with the pitchfork like flying around and stuff and using it. I was like, that's a cool concept. Whatever, a trident, whatever. Pitchfork.
Well, like, isn't that like the joke? Is it like the one dude calls it a pitchfork, calls it something?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then he's like, it's not a pitchfork.
It's not a pitchfork. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's the show's just, why I picked the show anyways is just because it's just this goofy little kid show, really, in a way, and I enjoy it, but there is some episodes, like, I totally understand, because Cuphead does give me a lot of, like, he upsets me a lot because he does cause a lot of his own problems. but he doesn't learn from them really. He just is like, yep, it all worked out in its own way. That's why like you don't like what was that show? Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh
Like
yeah,
just because of that concept, and I get that.
Because here's the thing, right? When
But
one
all of
character
them are terrible.
yeah, when one character does it, it's annoying. When the whole show's premise is just them all being that, it's like it's too cringy for me to watch. Like I cringed, I like get socially cringed watching them be absolute pieces. Also, Molly's just sitting here patting my chin this whole time.
I see. It's so
and
cute.
I'm like,
She's a cute baby.
You can keep doing what she's doing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, that's one of the reasons why I have trouble watching, because they all are that way.
Yeah, and it's sad because I really wanted you to start watching that show. I thought you would pick up on it, but after you told me, you're like, oh yeah, because there's actually a really funny little conspiracy theory that goes on with the community of that show, and that is Dennis Reynolds, like the main, like the head brother, Dennis. Everyone thinks he's a serial killer because how he acts and the things he says. So I was like, oh, that'd be kind of funny just to see what Josiah's input would be on that if you watched all the episodes. But back to Cuphead though. But so like we only have one more season left of Cuphead coming up, and that's pretty much it with Cuphead. Cuphead's really short. Like that's what I like about episodes like this. Like I think if this show would have been like 30-minute long episodes, I don't think you would even like it.
Oh, for sure.
I probably wouldn't, because it'd be overstretching.
This is a good show for 15 minutes. It's a solid 15-minute show. I personally think it suffers in the zeitgeist because it's on Netflix.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If this show was like on Disney or Nickelodeon or whatever, I think you would hear more about it. It would be a lot more popular. No offense, Netflix. Netflix is a much more like adult show thing. Now, I could be completely wrong about that because I'm still viewing it from a kid's perspective, and the kid's perspective for me is, oh, what TV show is on whenever my parents are forcing me to be in the house. But honestly, as a kid, if I grew up in this era, I think I would probably have a Netflix account. I think my parents would just give me a Netflix account and let me watch wherever I want. And honestly, no, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, for all I know, this is very popular, and I'm just out of touch old man yelling at clouds. And I'm okay with admitting to that and like realizing that and thinking about that, because if my kids said they wanted to watch Cuphead, perfectly good. I'd be okay with it. I'd be all for it. Let's watch it. I would also try to force them to watch other shows that I enjoy, and not just shows that I watched whenever I was little. This is okay. This is a big point of contingency for me, right?
Yeah.
Whenever I say I would like want my kids to watch shows that I want to watch as well, I don't mean like, oh, I'm going to force them to watch like Gravity Falls and this and that. No. If they want to look into it and like they enjoyed the show too, then that's fine. I'm saying I would be like, hey, let's watch Blue. Let's watch what's coming out now that I find entertaining, as well as like I would let the kid pick what they want to watch, but I would try to like sneak in Gravity Falls or Steven Universe into the mix.
No, I totally agree. Like I would be that kind of like, I would do that where I'd just be like, oh hey, we could watch Regular Show, which is one of my favorite shows, or we could watch,
Regular Show is a preteen
Simpsons,
show. I consider Regular Show a preteen show, just like I consider Adventure Time a preteen show. Even though like the earlier episodes of Adventure Time, people could easily like watch it as a kid and find it funny. But like midway through the series of Adventure
or SpongeBob, like I would be okay with SpongeBob, because the thing is, it's like my
pushing it.
But
pushing that.
People
that
say
letter.
Yeah, but the thing is like my wife grew up on SpongeBob. Like she loved it ever since she was a kid, and she still watches it every night. She watches SpongeBob because like Paramount has the SpongeBob rights, and she's like, I'm gonna watch SpongeBob. It's like a comfort thing. Like when kids attach themselves to like something that's like a cartoon, it lives with them for a long time. Like I attach myself to certain shows that I've have watched since I was a kid that are still going on, like The Simpsons, but like I don't recommend The Simpsons be watched by kids, because that's a
We
different.
did, and we got called out on it when we were
Yeah,
little. I
we
don't know if you
would.
remember that.
Oh yeah, we were
The
called
one
out on.
neighbor asked, like, we was like, "Yeah, we're watching The Simpsons. Like, your parents allow you to watch that?"
Yeah,
Like,
yep.
of course.
Yeah, what's
Why
the
not?
problem?
It's
Well, it's because why
cartoons.
not? Because the thing is like we only get 3 channels on our
we
analog TV.
we only got 3 channels if the weather was correct. We actually only
Yeah.
got 2 channels, and
Oh,
we
yeah.
prayed we got that 25 in.
What's really funny is like that is making a comeback actually. Like so, antenna TV. It's not antenna. It's called digital TV now, but it's free. It's free TV, and you need an antenna.
Yeah.
But people are now hooking it up to their Plex servers, and they're watching instead of paying for like news, like local news and everything through an app or through a cable company. They just do the antenna still because it's a stronger signal now. And they're like, oh, well, we'll just do this. And I've seen videos of like people like hooking up to their Plex server, and they're like, yeah, we can watch it all our TV, and we only need 10 channels for our local stuff. It's like, yeah, that makes sense. But like we grew up on like there's a lot of shows that I grew up on that I probably would not let let my kids watch. Like I wouldn't let them watch probably Ninja Turtles. No, I wouldn't because
I'm a very pro, like, if the kids enjoy it, let them watch
well,
it.
yeah, if a kid enjoys it, but I don't think a kid's going to.
If my kid's like, I want to watch Rick and Morty, I would be a little hesitant to that one. I'd be like, hold up, right? It's not that I don't want you to watch this. It's more I'm worried about the type of person you'll become. Yeah.
Or Solar Opposites, too. Solar Opposites, in my opinion, is a better show, but I wouldn't let my kid watch it. It just would not work out.
Now, if they were like a teen, I would be like, yeah, go for it, man.
I'd be okay with that. But like, there's a lot of shows that I wouldn't watch anymore. But there's a lot of stuff that like I remember watching when I was a kid that I loved, and then I try to watch it now, and I'm like, man, I really don't like this. Like, there was a show called Conan the Barbarian, and Conan the Barbarian was, I didn't know anything about Conan, but it was called Conan the Adventurer was the TV show. And it was a cartoon of Conan, and it was, I tried to watch it one time. My friend Seth is a huge Conan fan, so I bought it for him for his birthday, and we tried to watch it. We're like, ooh, this is rough. Like, it's just old. Like, it's like past its time. It's like Street Sharks. The concept of Street Sharks is kind of goofy, and then you're like, oh, but...
Well, let's be fair, all those like 80s cartoons, early 90s, they weren't intended to be good premise shows. They were to sell toys. That's all they were.
Yeah, and that's it. Like Power Rangers was that way, it was just pretty much the same thing over and over. It's the villain of the week episodes. But but there's also some really good cartoons that I loved for the story, like DuckTales and Chippendale Rescue Rangers. Like, those shows are awesome. Tailspin, I like those shows. Goof Troop was like that. I would let my child watch all of those, and I'd watch them with them because those are amazing shows. And I think Cuphead can fall in that realm too, because I do enjoy Cuphead, but I also understand that like maybe it's the runtime that I'm okay with, because I think if it would have been a half an hour like we were talking about, I don't think I'd really enjoy the show as much as I do right now. Like I don't enjoy this show. Like, it's not blowing me away, but I just like, for something that I could just watch again and be like, oh, this is fun. And I think the second time watching this through, I actually enjoyed it more than the first time I watched it through. So I was like, you know what, we'll just do it on the podcast. So, but yeah, I'm glad that you're not like, oh man, this is terrible. And I totally agree with some people that do not like the show because of Cuphead, because Cuphead is just an ignorant person, and he causes most of his problems. And he drags everyone with his problem.
It's the fact that the thing that makes it so insufferable is whenever the piece of trash character drags other people into his issues. Like, sailing off all the wood into the sky, and then Mugman makes a whole cabin to live. And then
well, and like some people would like argue with that with regular show. They're like, oh, well, Rigby's that way. And I was like, but Mordecai is too. I was like, Mordecai's done the same thing.
Go look back on episodes when we talked about well, no, we didn't talk about regular show. That's my bad.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit with Close Enough, but I did not like Rigby at all. Like, Rigby was my least favorite character until like midway through, when he started like hanging out with his girlfriend and he became a little more better, because I always felt he was that way. He was just constantly making things worse for Mordecai. Mordecai did dumb things too, but a lot of his dumb stuff stemmed from this concept of, I'm hanging out with Rigby and we have one brain cell between us.
Yeah.
But Rigby was just like inconsiderate and a jerk. And that made adventure, that's made normal show kind of hard to do. But you know, Rigby still had some episodes that he made me laugh. Like the excellent episode is hilarious to me. Like the concept of it. I thought if I could eat fast enough, I would be allergic.
I would be allergic.
That is a hilarious thing to hear.
Oh, yeah.
But I get it.
But yeah, no, I'm glad you're enjoying a little bit of it, because the thing is, it's like you know, there was another well, kind of animated show I want to do, but I was like, oh, we'll just wait on that one. And hopefully, you know, it'll get around that point, because there's just so much good stuff that's coming out right now that we're trying to, you know, we're talking about probably doing here soon. So hopefully I always have this problem where sometimes I'll know what I want to do and I'm like, yeah, this is what we want to watch, and then like I'll forget about it.
Yeah.
Like, oh man. But yeah.
And then you'll remember later and you'll be like, oh crap, I have to do that whenever we have.
Yeah, I'm always thinking like stuff. I'm like, yeah, we got to do this. You know. But
all right, awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to say about Cuphead season 2, or you just want to finish it out?
Well, you know, the thing is it's hard to do like a full 50-minute episode on this show, because it's only like 10 episodes and they're 10 minutes each. Like, it's not like we're talking about story structure, and it's also episodic. Like,
it's not even about like a full, like, our intention never is to do.
Yeah.
I think our ballpark is more like 40-45 minutes. We just go above whenever we're talking about like bigger shows, because that's but when it comes to like this show specifically, like our mid-season ones always tend to be shorter than our final or our first episode, because we've talked about the characters. We've had things, unless there's dramatic changes in the characters or in the story, the episodes tend to run short. Like Only Murders in the Building, each of those episodes were long because each season was a packed full of characters and story. But when you have Cuphead like this, like episodic, it's not going to be that way, and that's fine. Like, that's the intention. Like, we just get off early tonight. Heck yeah, baby. Mom can watch us another night. Like, that's the whole point. All right, Austin. Sounds good. I mean, yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's definitely not my most favorite animation, but it's not bad. Like, if I was a kid watching like TV shows and I was scrolling through, but I couldn't, like, if this came up, it was definitely a contender for me to watch. It would still get beaten out by like Teen Titans and Impossible whenever I was growing up, but still, you know, that's just me being truthful. So awesome. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Bros and Shows. I want to thank Mark too for joining me as well. She did a great job. She chilled in my arms all day, and I appreciate that. I love going with her. So thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week when we do Cuphead season 3. I almost said 2.
3, yeah. 3.
Till then, thank you all so much for stopping by. Thank you all so much for tuning in.